In the previous section, we looked at production profiles. Now let's look at the maps that were generated by Merlin. First, we'll look at the contour maps. We did not view these when we were looking at the single well model. Let's look at the oil, gas, and water saturation maps. And let's view these with time going across the page and layer down the page. And let's view every third map that was generated. Here we see the maps being plotted, and I will say that these maps plot about 3 times faster than you're viewing here. The movie capture program we're using really slows down this panel, or any of the mapping panels. But what you're seeing is across the top you see the maps for layer 1, then we see the maps for layer 2 as we move forward in time out to 5 years, and then layer 3 and so forth. Now notice in the topmost layer that at the beginning of the run we can see the oil ring around the gas cap, and then the oil trails across to the other lobe of our reservoir through the saddle point. And we see as we produce this run and blow down the gas cap in this northernmost lobe disappears, and the gas cap in the lower lobe almost totally disappears. When we get down to the bottommost layer, we see that there is no gas cap, and there's very little oil in this bottom layer either. And we can see how the water is moving into this layer. For instance, in the center of the layer, we see that the saturation is 0.44 toward the end of the run, whereas at the beginning of the run, the saturation was 0.7. Now let's view our maps in cross-section. If you remember, with the single well model, we always looked at one cross-section going across the one well in the model. Now that we have structure maps with multiple wells, it would be interesting to look at more than one cross-section at a time. So let's pick cross-sections going across each of our producers in the reservoir, and then a cross-section going across the saddle point. We'll have time going across the page, cross-section down, where we have 4 cross-sections picked across the 2, the 11, the 20, and the 23 location. When we plot this, we see cross-sections going across the page across the 2x position. We can see the water oil contact and the gas oil contact, and we can see where the oil is. Notice, now that we're finished drawing, that we can see where our wells are located. We see where faults are, and on the other side of faults, where we're out into null regions not included in the model, we have no plots made. And we can see that early on in our model, where we had uniform oil saturation within the oil zone, later we could see the water coming in and filtering in toward the well in each of these runs.